Yet another warm day across the Bluegrass State, but I've got some showers and thunderstorms ready to crash our summer-like party.
Shots are fired at a central Kentucky home, hitting a man on the front porch. What police are saying about the investigation now at 4. And a man convicted in a Lexington murder asks to be let out of prison early. We'll have the state parole board's decision.
This is WKYT News at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Jennifer Palumbo. We have another hot and dry day. Here's a live look at one of our drop cams in downtown Lexington, where temperatures are in the low 80s right now. And we're in for some changes, including rain. WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has a first look at the forecast. And Chris, we could use some rain.
Yeah, we're a little dry across central and eastern Kentucky now. We want those May flowers to look good. Thus, you got to have the April showers, right? We're going to get in on some of that over the next few days. Big storm system continues across the Plain States. If you were watching me on Monday, I said this was a big-time slow mover, and I mean it. It is just reaching parts of the Mississippi Valley with some rains. Warm air coming in out ahead of that, and that's right on top of central and eastern Kentucky on that southwesterly wind flow that will eventually turn us into a little more humid pattern that can lead to a shower or a thunderstorm. Look at the little cloud-covered northeastern Kentucky. There is a weak boundary that's out there. If we are to pop a shower this evening, maybe into that Moorhead to Ashland area, though your Defender Radar Network, nothing on it except the temperatures back into the low 80s into much of central and eastern Kentucky. 85, though, Jackson. Into London and Harlan at 84 degrees, 85 Monticello, down into parts of Wayne County. Scattered thunderstorms, though, likely to crank up over the next few days. I've got another great weekend taking shape. Then overall, Jennifer, the pattern slowly begins to change as we go into next week. And coming up in 15 minutes, I'll show you why that may mean more in the way of some rains.
Police say someone fired shots at this home in Lincoln County, and one of the bullets struck a man on the front porch. It happened last night on Powell Street in Stanford. WKYT's Phil Pendleton is tracking the investigation and has our top story at 4.
Police say they were called just after midnight after the violence erupted outside a home on Powell Street. It all began as a man apparently was walking down the street. Something happened. There was an argument, and then the man had a gun. He fired a lot of rounds into the house, hitting one person. Police say the victim was standing on the porch when the bullet hit him in the lower abdomen area. The bullet went all the way through him, through a window, and into the living room area. In fact, police say the shooter who fired from the street into the home fired multiple rounds into the home. Police say they're still investigating the motive, but they say the shooter had been walking down the street intoxicated when something caused him to start firing at the people in and outside the home.
We have several things in mind. I can tell you we recovered 2 items of jewelry. So whether it was stolen property, I can't say at this time.
You can imagine the horrific scene for those who live close by. All of the homes on Powell Street are very close to one another. You're going to hear from one of the witnesses coming up at 5:30. But for now, in Lincoln County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
So far, police have not released the names of the victim or the shooter, but they do say the shooter is a convicted felon who has served time for violent offenses. We now know the name of a man killed in a crash in Lexington today. The coroner says 67-year-old John Kenton Fairchild died in the crash just before 8 this morning on Mason Headley Road near Versailles Road. Police say a pickup truck going north around a bend on Mason Headley didn't make the turn and hit Fairchild's vehicle head-on. Fairchild was pronounced dead at UK Hospital. The male driver of the pickup was taken to UK Hospital and is expected to survive. Mason Headley Road was shut down for hours but is now back open. A man convicted in a notorious Lexington murder case will stay behind bars. This morning, the state parole board denied Eric Hayden's request for parole. Eric Hayden and Clarence Jones are serving life sentences in the 1986 killing of 36-year-old Clay Nelson. The restaurant manager was stabbed more than 50 times inside Columbia Steakhouse on Alexandria Drive before it was set on fire. Earlier this week, Nelson's family asked the parole board to keep Hayden in prison. Today, he asked to be released early.
I did everything I can to change myself and my ways to become a better person. There's nothing else I could do at this point.
Hayden was also denied parole once before 5 years ago. Our reporters are working on a number of other stories for WKYT starting at 4:30. Amber Philpott joins us from the newsroom with a look at some of the news in progress. Good afternoon, Amber.
Hello, Jennifer. We are learning some new details about a tragic story in Louisville where a toddler was found dead inside a hot car. Today, we're hearing from the 2-year-old's mother. Police say Levanta Swain was in a car for several hours and died from hypothermia. The temperatures were in the low 80s on Monday when he died. His 19-year-old mother says she and her son were both in foster care and that her foster mother still had custody of her child. She says her aunt owns the daycare that was in charge of watching her son.
So many stories. It don't even add up.
Says records show the state has investigated the Little Kings and Queens daycare multiple times since 2012. Attorney General Andy Beshear is answering some questions today that his campaign may have accepted questionable campaign contributions. The allegations came after Governor Matt Bevin says his office uncovered corruption during the administration of former Governor Steve Beshear. Part of Governor Bevin's claim is that state workers were coerced into giving donations to Democratic candidates. Governor Bevin said that the Attorney General says he's waiting for a routine audit of his campaign funds to be completed and will then donate any remaining money to a government watchdog organization. You're going to hear from him coming up on WKYT News at 5. That's a look at just some of the news in progress. Jennifer, back to you.
Thanks, Amber. Now to a story making headlines across the nation at 4. The first criminal charges have been filed in connection with the Flint lead water crisis. 2 state employees and 1 Flint worker are charged with evidence tampering and several other counts. Brooke Silva Braga has the latest.
Michigan's Attorney General announced charges against 2 officials at the State Department of Environmental Quality and a supervisor at the Flint water treatment plant.
If you break the law, there are consequences.
Prosecutors say DEQ Supervisor Stephen Bush and District Engineer Michael Prisby refused to order the chemical treatment that could have prevented the lead crisis. They're charged with several felonies, including evidence tampering.
Mr. Bush and Mr. Prisby altered test results.
Flint's water crisis began in 2014 when the city, while under state management, switched its water source to the Flint River. The water was not properly treated, allowing lead to leach from the pipes. Blood tests showed some residents, including children, with dangerously high lead levels. Flint Supervisor Michael Glasgow was also charged.
We have charged Mr. Glasgow with felony tampering with evidence by altering and falsifying reports.
Prosecutors promised more charges, saying no one is above the law. Brooke Silva Braga for CBS News, New York.
Some are calling for criminal charges against higher-ranking officials, including Governor Rick Snyder. Move over President Andrew Jackson. A woman will now be the new face of the $20 bill. Details in WKYT Money Watch. And the Kentucky Lottery trying to attract more players. The age group they're targeting next on WKYT News at 4.
You've upgraded all your old technology, so what about this? It's time to get into the new with Ford. New can listen and talk back. New can practically park itself. New is EcoBoost technology. New is Ford, America's best-selling brand. Now get into a new Ford Fusion or Focus with 0% financing for 60 months plus $1,000 bonus cash. Only at your local Ford store.
Torture of an elderly woman in a nursing home.
Her grandmother was being abused.
Nationwide, about 1 in 3 homes have been cited for abuse.
Nursing home abuse happens daily, and our loved ones need protection. If you or someone you love has experienced nursing home abuse, call 800-800-4600. If your loved one has suffered from malnutrition, dehydration, broken bones, or bed sores, don't wait. Call Hughes and Coleman. Call 800-800-4600. You need to act now.
Join Rob Romley and WKYT TV viewers on a cruise and land tour of Alaska, August 5th to the 18th. To learn more about this wonderful vacation, our free travel shows will meet Tuesday, April 26th at the Lexington Holiday Inn Express Hotel and Suites at 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and 7 p.m. We'll also meet Wednesday, April 27th at the Frankfurt Best Western Parkside Inn at 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and 7 p.m. For more information, call Holiday Vacations at 1-800-826-2266.
Tired of painting? Go Rhino, and you'll never have to paint again. Now you can have the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for brick, stucco, wood, or aluminum. And Rhino Shield won't chip, crack, flake, or peel for home or business. Don't paint, don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
Don't paint, don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Nothing brings a family together like fun around the backyard pool. Here is your last chance to make that happen, and the price has never been better. For a limited time, Blue World Pools has the big 15 by 24 Econoline pool for not $3.99, not even $3.49. If you call now, that pool can be yours for only $2.99. That price still includes pump, filter, liner, ladder, and a free automatic pool cleaner. All that including free installation on your ready site for just $2.99. That's a $1,995 value for only $2.99. That's awesome! Call Blue World Pools now and take advantage of this incredible offer. Want more pizzazz? Of course you do! So jump up to our midline pool or grab for it all with Blue World Pools' top-of-the-line classic pool, the ultimate in high-style living. The choice is yours. But remember, this is your last chance to take advantage of our limited-time offer. The price will never get any better than this. How could it? Call Blue World Pools right now and beat that heat.
Keep up with the latest news on WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
President Andrew Jackson is out and Harriet Tubman is in as the U.S. Treasury Department makes some changes to U.S. currency. That tops today's WKYT Money Watch. Andrew Jackson is getting booted from the $20 bill and Tubman will go in his place. The Treasury Secretary made the announcement today. Tubman rescued slaves through the Underground Railroad. Alexander Hamilton will stay on the front of the $10 bill, and a montage of leaders from the women's suffrage movement will be added to the back of the 10. That redesigned bill is expected to enter circulation by 2020. It'll be the first U.S. bill to have a woman on it in more than 100 years. One of Lexington's largest employers is being sold. Lexmark says it's being acquired by a group of Chinese investors in a cash deal worth more than $3.5 billion. Lexington Mayor Jim Gray's office says the company plans to keep its corporate headquarters in Lexington and does not expect to make significant changes in employment. The merger is expected to close later this year. The Kentucky Lottery is expanding to internet sales in hopes of luring younger players. Lottery officials say eligible players who register for an online account will be able to purchase Powerball, Mega Millions, and Kentucky Cash Ball draw games. At least 5 instant play scratch-off games ranging from 50 cents to $3 are also available. Kentucky is the 3rd state to offer lottery sales, joining Michigan and Georgia. We have more details at WKYT.com. Visa says it's upgraded its software so chip-enabled cards won't take quite so long to process. The company says the chip card will only need about 2 seconds to register. Previously, customers had to leave them in the terminal while the transaction went through. This will cut about 18 seconds off transaction times. Walmart has instituted a policy change to trim some time for customers. The retailer will no longer ask customers to confirm the amount of the transaction. That's expected to save about 11 seconds. Businesses say the tweaks are necessary because customers are used to the speed of swiping their cards. Yahoo is on the market, but here's something that won't be a selling point. Yahoo's revenue fell 18% from the same time last year. It's the largest quarterly drop since the company hired Marissa Mayer as its CEO nearly 4 years ago. A new stamp honors legendary child actress Shirley Temple. It features the icon as she looked in the popular 1935 film Curly Top. Temple is the Postal Service's 20th inductee in the Legends of Hollywood stamp series. McDonald's is testing new versions of its Big Mac. It's testing a Grand Mac and Mac Jr. The Grand Mac is made with 2 third-pound beef patties. The Mac Jr. is essentially a single-layer Big Mac. The world's biggest hamburger chain has been fighting to turn around its business after seeing customer visits decline in recent years.
It's a Tony Award-winning production, Bye Bye Birdie. I'm Deanne Stevens, out and about at Bryan Station High School today.
No one wants to say bye-bye to the warm weather, but we may at least knock it down a little bit courtesy of some showers and thunderstorms. We'll track those in a new hour-by-hour forecast next.
Losing a leg can be devastating, but choosing to stand can be life-changing.
I'm alive, and that's all that matters.
A lesson in adapting dreams when life takes an unexpected turn, Thursday at 6 on WKYT.
When severe storms roll in, we go to work to keep you and your family safe with continuous coverage on air, on WKYT.com, and wherever you are with our news and weather apps. First Alert Severe Weather Days, only on WKYT.
See the all-new CertaPerfect Sleeper Hybrid Mattress and get the king for the price of a queen. Like this king set, just $12.99. Plus get a 3-day, 2-night Wyndham vacation free. And up to 5 years, 0 interest. Because
nobody beats P-Rats.
Listen up, it's Ford Truck Month. This is the time, this is the place. And this is Ford F-150, the truck that goes toe-to-toe with your life. Made of high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy, it pulled the highest safety rating the government can give. And with a 360-degree camera, it's like having your head on a swivel, pal. So load up your crew. This is the time.
Now get an F-150 with 0% financing for 60 months or up to $6,550 in total savings. See your local Ford dealer.
Clients come into the office. The government has said, no, I don't believe you. You're not disabled.
The major problem with Social Security disability is that most people who sign up are denied at the initial level. If your claim's denied, don't give up. Call us immediately. We'll appeal your case.
We can do an effective job of representing you that will get you the benefits that you deserve.
Call Morgan, Collins, and Yeast, 1-800-55-WILDCAT.
Sleep is a critical component of our athletic training at UK.
Our sleep experts are the champions at matching our customers to the best bed for them.
This week at Sleep Outfitters, get a free TV with qualifying purchase, like this Sealy Pillow Top Queen Set with gel foam, now only $4.99, plus a free TV. Go to sleepoutfitters.com for store locations and hours.
Sleep Outfitters, official sleep provider of UK athletics. Sleep like a champion, play like a champion.
Get ready for Kroger's Kentucky Derby Festival, April 28th through Derby Eve, and be a part of America's greatest community festival with 9 full days of local and national act concerts, the infamous Chow Wagon, various festival events, and more. Admission is free with a 2016 Pegasus pen, $5 at your neighborhood Kroger, and $7 at events.
Hurry into Kroger and save on pork. Get boneless chops, back ribs, or tenderloin for $2.99 a pound. And Kroger cheese is just $1.88 at Kroger.
see the all-new CertaPerfect Sleeper Hybrid Mattress and get the king for the price of a queen. Like this king set, just $12.99. Plus get a 3-day, 2-night Wyndham vacation free. And up to 5 years, 0 interest. Because
nobody beats P-Rats.
Stay connected to the news that matters to you. Follow WKYT on Twitter. Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Yet another gorgeous day in the Bluegrass State. Nope, not getting tired of saying that at all. Little look outside, beautiful skies again. Started out, though, with a lot of cloud cover, ending it with a mix of sun and some clouds. And look at that temperature again in Lexington. 4 days in a row, if you're playing along at home, that we've hit 80 degrees or better. That hasn't happened in Lexington in the month of April since 2010. Ironically, that's a year I'm looking at for a analog for the summer that's ahead of us. 29% humidity, bone dry atmosphere again. So any shower that we've tried to pop today, having zero luck out there. 80 to 85 into most of central and eastern Kentucky. Speaking of a shower, can we find anything on your Defender Radar Network? Well, nothing across central and eastern Kentucky, but look out to the west of us, Paducah and across the Mississippi River, getting in on some moisture finally. Nice little curlicue, little swirl in the clouds, showing up across parts of Iowa. Warm air out ahead of this. Slow-moving storm system will eventually throw some showers and some thunderstorms our way. Storm or two around for the day tomorrow. Temperatures in the 70s. Better chance coming up on Friday. Saturday, sunny skies are going to return as temperatures are back into the 70s during that time. So we got about a 48-hour window roughly to get in on some much-needed rains. Let's go through the rest of that evening, shall we? Low 60s by 11 o'clock. Heading into the day tomorrow, a little more in the way of moisture around. You're going to have some sun. You're going to have a lot of dry hours tomorrow. Then we get into the afternoon, a shower or thunderstorm begins to flare up. Much better rain chances, though, coming up tomorrow night and into Friday. Talked about this yesterday on how this system was slowing down a little bit, and that was going to prolong the summer surge for at least another day or so. We go into Friday. Temperature around 70 for an afternoon high with a shower or thunderstorm that may actually try to hang tough into at least a part of our Friday evening. So the slower this system is arriving, well, the longer it's going to linger. We will get better, though, as we go into our Saturday. A little cooler in the morning, some 40s to around 50. Into Saturday afternoon, though, will look a whole lot better during that time. Between now and Saturday morning, that same computer model we are looking at is still trying to hotspot some areas of central and eastern Kentucky with better than an inch of rain. We need it, especially the eastern part of the state. Very dry so far since March 1st. 70 on Friday. Showers, thunderstorms will be around. Not an all-day rain. Look at Saturday at 73, 80 on Sunday. Next week, I mentioned a pattern change. It's going to be warm still. We're going to increase the humidity and a daily threat for some showers and thunderstorms starting Monday. Let's check on traffic. Here is Officer Don.
A live look at Lexington rush hour traffic. No wrecks in the way, so we're doing okay. Downtown looks decent. Outbound South Broadway past St. Leanna, one of the slower spots. North Broadway, no trouble to the circle. Drive times this afternoon looking good to Nicholasville, 12 to 15 minutes. That's about average. Also, it looks like to Richmond across the Claysbury Bridge, averaging 28 or so. Now back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Officer Don. The Broadway production of Bye Bye Birdie was a Tony Award-winning success, and now the show's become a popular choice for high school and college productions.
And Deanne Stevens out and about today at Bryan Station High School, joining us with a little bit more on that. Hi, Deanne.
Good afternoon, guys. We are here at Bryan Station High School, where tomorrow night is opening night for Bye Bye Birdie. We just had the awesome treat of seeing all these fabulously talented students. You're going to get that here in just a second. Amy Kiesling is with us. She is the high school drama department director. And you said you guys, this is new for you guys, like second year, right?
This is our second year doing bigger productions and doing a fall play and a spring musical. Yes, ma'am.
So much fun and so good for the students. Talk about that and incorporating arts and education.
Absolutely. We have a variety of drama classes. We also compete in the fall Kentucky Theater Association competition, and the past 2 years have gotten second or third place in both of those, and they've been doing big musicals, and it's only growing every year.
All right, this is a big musical. Bye Bye Birdie. Kaven, one of the lead roles, senior here at Bryan Station. Tell us about Bye Bye Birdie for those folks who aren't familiar with the production.
Yeah, so right now what you're about to see is we're going to cut in on Sweet Apple, Ohio, where Kim McAfee and Hugo Peabody have just got pinned, and everyone in the town's raving over it and gossiping about how exciting that is for them.
Here's our Bryan Station High School drama department.
Hi, Nancy. Hi, Helen. What's the story? What a worry. What's the tale? Hey, girl. Tell me quicker about Hugo and Kim. Hi, Margie. Hi, Helen. What's the story? What a worry. What's the word? Honeybird. Have you heard about Hugo and Kim? Did they really get pinned? Did you kiss when they cried? Did he say that they lied? Or was he too shy? Well, I heard they got pinned. Yeah, yeah. I don't know where they went. Oh, that last. He's gone.
Hello, Mr. Hankel. This is Harvey Johnson. Can I speak to Melanie Pierre?
Sure about Kim. I'm just doing some hair.
About the prom.
I'm a television.
Saturday?
I can talk to you now.
Showtime opening night tomorrow night, 6:30, right here at Bryan Station High School. You can get your tickets at the door, and the production is running through Saturday. There's 2 on Saturday for you to check it out. Coming up at 4:50, more from our Bryan Station High School drama department. I'm Deanne Stevens, out and about with Bye Bye Birdie.
Some talented students, thank you, Deanne. Buying car seats or toys secondhand can save you cash, but there could be hidden dangers. We'll explain next in Better Living. Tonight's Powerball jackpot is $227 million, and Friday night's Mega Millions jackpot is $97 million.
Meet Kyle. You name it. Dust, pollen,
And pet dander.
he's allergic to it.
Stanley Steamer is the first carpet cleaning service to be certified asthma and allergy friendly, eliminating an average of 94% of common household allergens like dust, pollen, and pet dander for a cleaner, healthier home.
Goodbye, Mr. Steamer.
Bye, Kyle.
Call now about our $33 per room carpet cleaning special.
Call 1-800-STEAMER. Stanley Steamer, your certified cleaner.
This is what precision looks like, helping you see what's hard to see, thanks to Terrain Denali's Side Blind Zone Alert that uses radar to watch your blind spots. So it's true, Mom does have eyes in the back of her head. The new, meticulously crafted 2016 Terrain Denali from GMC. This is the precision of professional grade. Or current lessees switch to GMC and get this low-mileage lease on this Terrain SLE1 for around $199 per month.
Visit your Bluegrass GMC dealer today.
Does your child suffer from symptoms of constipation? Infrequent trips to the bathroom could be signs of constipation. Doctors are conducting a clinical research study evaluating the investigational use in children of a study drug approved for treating adults with constipation. If your child is between 6 and 17, he or she may qualify. Participants will receive study-related exams, study drug, and monitoring by the study nurse and doctor. To learn more, call 888-609-3456 or visit marco-polostudies.com.
Put a local pro on the case with Case Foundation Repair and Waterproofing. We've been solving all your foundation and water problems with trusted service since 1944. Case Foundation Systems stabilizes your home's foundation and settlement needs. Our waterproofing systems offer an affordable solution for your basement and crawl space. Case also repairs cracks, bowed walls, and solves drainage problems. With Case's concrete lifting and leveling system, we'll stabilize your porch, patio, and sidewalk. Call for a free estimate and put a local pro on the case.
Join me, Denny Crum.
And me, Joe B. Hall.
For the biggest hearing event of the year.
Do you hear but don't understand? Do you struggle to hear in noise? We want 300 people to take the 10-day challenge.
Call the number below to evaluate the latest invisible hearing technology. 1 week only at all of our convenient locations.
Hearing Solutions, helping you listen to what you're missing.
It's time for Better Living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life. A mouth bacteria known as P. gingivalis could signal an increased risk for pancreatic cancer. Researchers at New York University found men and women who have the bacteria showed a 59% higher risk of developing pancreatic cancer. Doctors say the finding could lead to early detection tools. Scientists can now pinpoint the part of the brain that recognizes facial expressions. Researchers at Ohio State University say the discovery will provide new insight into how the brain works and may help with autism research. Parents may think they're getting a deal when buying toys and other children's items secondhand or online. But as Julie Watts explains, some of those products could be dangerous.
Buying used items for kids is anything but child's play.
Their first model here didn't have a seatbelt.
This early model Bumbo seat was recalled because children were seriously injured or killed after falling out. Just one of the thousands of dangerous, even deadly kids products sold secondhand after they were recalled. eBay and Amazon use technology that blocks people from selling recalled items, and sites like Craigslist have policies in place, but recalled items often slip through the cracks.
Some of the most recalled items are actually things children either sit, sleep, or play in.
Amanda Bauer weeds out unsafe items for consignment events. She says avoid buying items children can fall out of. Also, stay away from choking hazards like small toys and wires. This wall lamp was recalled after children were injured and killed, strangled by the long cord.
And think twice before buying a second-hand car seat. Always check for expiration dates. They generally expire after 6 years. And never buy a car seat that's been in an accident.
You should only buy cribs manufactured after June 2011, when new safety standards went into effect.
They're required to have a date on them.
Just a few simple tips to help you and your baby sleep easier. Julie Watts for CBS News, San Francisco.
You can check to see if items are under recall by going to the Consumer Product Safety Commission's website. It's cpsc.gov. Now let's head over to Chris. It's another hot and dry day in the Bluegrass.
Yeah, it is. By April standards, you're talking low and mid 80s for the 4th day in a row. Low and mid 80s in April. It's all relative. That's hot in my book, considering that normal highs are pushing 70 right now into much of the area. It's 85 Jackson, London not too far behind at 84, 83 Frankfort, low 80s across the Lexington area as well. Notice all 4 locations, mix of sun and some high clouds out there. We've seen more in the way of some sun though this afternoon compared to the cloudy start that we had. 4 days in a row. Last time that happened in Lexington with temperatures at or above 80 in April was back in 2010.
Will we do it again tomorrow?
Probably not. We're going to get close, though. Even our cool downs right now are not going to be that cool. We'll be in the 70s the next few days.
We're glad you're with us on WKYT. The news is just getting started. Here are Sam, Dick, and Amber Philpott with what's coming up at 4:30.